Here at Fence Armor, we're an engineering company. I know sometimes that may sound like a misnomer, fencing, fence protection, and engineering, but the realities are you can't have one without the other. In looking at the problem of protecting posts, we started to analyze it and realize that there are many reasons to do it. Just like rhinoceroses and beetles and other animals have a tough shell to be able to handle the abrasions that they may face during the day, we realize that fence posts, whether they're made out of vinyl or they're made out of ornamental or wood, are faced with active attacks on a daily basis. Certainly from lawn equipment. If your fence has any grass near it and you decide that you want to trim it and make it look nice, then you're going to use either an old-fashioned shear, which is probably not in anybody's garage anymore, or you're going to use a full-on trimmer, whether it's electric or gas. They spin at least 7,500 RPM, and they have some pretty interesting and gnarly filament. And that filament, once it starts spinning around, well, it can do a real mess on your post. Like you can see a little bit here, how quickly it get damaged. And in fact, if you probably go outside, you'll notice, you look at the bottom of posts, how damaged they do get. So in analyzing this, we engineered a product that we believe is the best on the market today. We focused on being environmentally friendly. We focused certainly on the biomimicry of the product, and realizing that these were important pieces in two elements. One, of course, if we imitate nature, then we're going to be closer to the reality of what we're looking for, and that is pleasing to the eye. The other thing is, in protecting their posts, you're protecting the environment. If you don't have to replace your fence as often, then by all logic, you're protecting the resources that you have and that we all share here on the earth. So in analyzing that, we looked at different kinds of materials. And we could have went with plastic, we could have went with aluminum, potentially some other resins and so forth, but we found that the most recyclable material is steel. It's also the strongest. Aluminum will degrade, it'll oxidize, and certainly if you take a weed whacker to it, you'll start to see very quickly how the finish mars and how you eat through the soft aluminum, which is what it is. It's light and soft. Plastics are no different. That's why we protect vinyl posts or PVC posts, because they're plastic. And no matter what kind of UV protection you have, they're microns thin. And soon as you shave away that UV protection, you start to eat away at the plastic. The sun eats through it, and you'll see that yourself. If you have a tarp in your backyard covering a boat or covering some things, you'll notice after a couple of years how that plastic tarp almost fades away to nothing and starts to erode. So galvanized steel is a great solution to that problem. It allows us to bend it and position it in ways that will enable us to cover your posts with a very thin solution, but strong enough to manage the protection around the post. So we're made of 100% American galvanized steel, and that's important. We don't use anything offshore. We're not looking for cheap solutions. We're looking for effective engineered products that will help you protect your investment. Every product is stamped with Fence Armor. It's designed with the radius here on the corner for a couple of reasons. Obviously, it stiffens the product, and secondly, it's really easy on your filament. So if you're a landscaper and you're wondering, well, what's it going to do to my filament? Well, it's going to roll right across here. And we've done all kinds of tests with different RPMs of different filaments cutting across here, and inevitably all of them just bounce across the radius and deflect off the product. So it's obviously saves on the gal, but it also is great on your trimmer. On the side here, you'll notice there's a slot, and the reason for that slot is when you put this on a piece of lumber or a vinyl post, you'll see how that allows the product to flex. And the reason that we allow it to move is because wood, when it gets wet, will swell. When it swells, we need a place to move. We don't want that fastener in there ripping at the fibers of the wood. And vinyl is no different. Vinyl, in fact, doesn't swell because it gets wet, but it gets hot. And if you get out to a vinyl fence, white is not so bad, but as they get darker, you'll see how hot they are, and they physically expand. So you need something that's going to be able to protect it at the bottom, so that you're able to have the fence armor flex back and forth with the heat and contraction of your vinyl fence. When you're getting a new fence, or you're talking to your landscaper, ask for fence armor by name, because we are the best defense for your fence. Thanks for listening. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate the complimenters.